Welcome to the Yoked Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Hall, alongside my wife and co-host, Ingrid.
On this podcast, we talk about all things real estate, entrepreneurship, business, faith, family, you name it, we talk about it, and how we do it all as an equally yoked husband and wife team.
We are glad you're here. Thanks for listening. Enjoy this week's episode. What's up? Welcome to the Yoked Podcast. I'm your host, Travis, and I'm super excited. Today's episode, we have a guest. We have Alyssa Ritchie, who I know well, and I've worked with in the past in my business, and I'm getting to know more. And she is in my group, Owners Club, that I'm a part of. Shout out Owners Club because it's amazing. She owns and operates a company that is just crushing it. It is growing fast. She is a real estate investor. And when I met you, you owned a small transaction coordination company, and you helped me with my very first creative deal. And so fast forward to now, that was a couple years ago. You are still doing that, but you've grown it. You help people do all things business, operate their business, scale their business, not just facilitate a transaction. And you are the host of Confessions of a Working Mom podcast with over 100 episodes, which is just absolutely amazing. I know firsthand how hard it is. And so when I saw 100, I'm like, holy cow, we're at 30-ish. So props to you. I'm excited to have this conversation. And what did I miss in the introduction of you?
Well, first thing, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super excited as well because we do kind of go way back, but just like a little way back, right? And so
we've met in person, I think, twice now. That's it.
Yeah, only twice. And then, when we did your creative transaction, there was only 4 of us on the team. And so it was a very
I had
little
all 4 of
baby
you on a
team.
Zoom multiple times. I'm like, I felt so special. I'm like, either I'm special or mine's just really weird. It was a unique deal.
There was maybe a little bit of both, but it's fine.
For sure.
But the only other thing really is we also, because we are the hub, and like you said, we started out as a transaction coordination company. We do fractional operations, and actually I'm launching more of an ops intensive with Carl, also an Owners Club. So that launches on the 9th, but we also do wholesale and we source deals for buyers. And we do a lot of things. We have an amazing underwriter. And so we really are a hub, a one-stop shop for investors. You know, we JV on deals. We help newbies. So kind of whatever you need, we probably got it.
I think I'm kind of convicted right now because I feel like I need a lot of those things just in my own business. I'm like,
maybe
I need your
this
help.
is why we're doing the podcast. Just kidding.
Exactly. Maybe this is an interview for me. And you're from, or you have family close by to me, and you and I are hosting a meetup.
We are. I'm super excited. Yeah, we get to be the hosts.
Yeah, Spokane, a CDA, big meetup on Pace's like travel the U.S. in 120 days or whatever he's doing. It's pretty exciting.
Yep, it is super exciting.
So if you're in the area, it's coming.
Yep, totally. We have family up there, and so I signed up. There's so many Sub2 members in Arizona, and so for me, I was like, where else is he going to be?
Right.
And he's there with family, and I was like, perfect, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, see some family, go host a meetup. So, and then it was perfect.
I love it.
So,
I mean, you get to write off your business trip to your family's house. It's great.
Totally.
I mean, anytime you get to do that, I think it's great. Yeah, there's not as many of us up here in this northern near Canada region.
But well, it gets a little cold that time of year, so that's why.
It does. It's good. Maybe we make it a ski trip. I love it.
That'd be
awesome.
Let's
dive in. Let's dive into all things about you and why you're on the Yoked Podcast. You have multiple partnerships. You partner on your podcast and all the people that you kind of oversee and run. And so I think you bring a unique perspective. You're a former real estate agent as well, right? Or
I
current.
am.
You're still current.
Yep. Still current, but not
and then you saw the
really
light.
Selling. Yes, it was a bright light shining.
It was.
It's okay. Just leave it.
It's tricky. I mean, it's a very different mindset. Like it's all real estate, but it's so different.
Now, I kind of have a question for you on that mindset, actually, because I struggled for a long time switching that mindset from traditional to creative. Because when I
Hmm.
got into creative, we had moved down from Arizona. And so I was more active I'm licensed in Washington. So we were active and I was moving and I was like, okay, I'm going to get licensed in Arizona and just keep doing my thing, be licensed in both places. Found Pace. And I was like, okay, this like kind of seems like a scam because in traditional,
So
right?
true.
We're like, okay, buyer, seller, that's it. Title company, you have an inspector and it's so one laned. I mean,
Yes.
I hate to say this, but like they don't really teach you that much stuff in your course to become a real estate agent. And so for me, I was like, what's a promissory note? What's a deed? I can tell you how many square feet are in an acre. But I was like, what are these things? Because that's something that title always dealt with, right? We weren't
Right.
really actively a part of that. And so for me, it took a while to like switch that mindset of going from traditional to creative and more like CEO, I guess, if you will say, of this creative space. But now, like, I make fun of myself all the time as a previous agent. I'm like, oh, well, the agent, I was an agent. I just didn't know, like, or the agent, it just has their blinders on because they're so one laned.
Yep. It's exactly how I say it to. We have a team that we're part of, and there's like 40 agents on the team. And so we're like the investor people, and we know all things creative, all things creative. And so we get asked a lot of questions all the time
Hmm.
from baby to like well experienced agents. And I always explain it with this. I'm like, so this is traditional real estate, beginning to end. It makes sense. I said we
Hmm.
play out here. We're playing in
Yeah.
this realm, and you didn't learn this from. You might have read the word subject to in your real estate school, and that's
Yeah.
it. And
Hmm.
so it is so different, and I feel like they, as a traditional real estate agent, like you're expected to be the professional and know, like
Hmm.
almost like an attorney. Like I love attorneys. My father-in-law's an attorney, and attorneys are what kill all deals. It's because
Yeah.
every attorney knows everything. Like even if they don't,
Hmm.
like they're supposed to, and so they're like, oh yeah, you can't do that, even though you totally can.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
like in traditional real estate, it's similar. It's like, oh, that's illegal. You can't do that. It's like, well, you just don't
Hmm.
understand it. And so it's like
Right.
it takes a lot of humility to like humble yourself to understand like I don't know. And that's okay.
Hmm.
And to
Yeah.
seek
Totally.
help,
Well,
you
and
know?
it's funny too because everyone does think that you're an attorney, and so then you have this caveat of like, "No, I'm not an attorney though." Like, I
Yeah,
know, but I don't know.
right. I know attorneys and we can chat with them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. We
I
could
am
call
not
them.
one. Right.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
will happily take all of our money
They
by the
totally
hour.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm in the wrong business. I don't want to have to wait to get paid to the very end. But
Right. Just
that's the
start
business we
billing right
signed up
now.
for. Exactly. Exactly. Well, yeah, I'm with you fully, and it is fun
Yeah.
like teaching and like bringing other agents along the ride of like this is how this
Mhm.
works, and like have you thought about
Yeah.
this with especially right
Mhm.
now in this market, it's tricky, and so I mean
100%.
it's like it could be a great option. It's still tricky with creative. Like I have several deals from agents on my team that they bring them to me. They're like, "Hey, can you buy this?" And I'm like, "Even if I
Mhm.
gave you $0 and I took over the payments as is with the great rate, I'm still losing $500 a month." And it's
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's just an expensive market in Denver Metro. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
for somebody else, like it could be a great deal. And so
Totally.
it is tricky. And Pace is making it
It is.
not I shouldn't say Pace. Pace is leading the charge in our community of making it more mainstream and like people are understanding it more, which
Mhm.
is good and
Yeah,
bad.
totally. And I think the education behind it, like, that is something that I
Hmm.
really enjoy, is being able to, like, "Okay, I know you don't understand. Let's get on a Zoom." I'm, like, a junkie
Right.
to kinda get on a Zoom and, like, "Let's go over it. Let's walk step by step. I wanna hear your thought. I wanna also see your facial expression behind your thought." Because
Right.
even there's a deal that we were working on and, we're direct to agent on our wholesale side. And so it's like, bring all offers, motivated seller. It's paid in full, perfect seller finance situation. And he's like, nope, I
Right.
don't want to seller finance it. And I'm like, okay, so, but do you understand? Like, tax implications, like all of the things, right, that we learn in the investor space. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, but it's also overpriced. So I just brought you a full price offer, overpaying basically because you're giving me terms. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, let's get on the phone. Let's talk to the agent and like, let's make something happen because this is the best offer you're going to get.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, unless time is completely on your side as the seller
Yeah.
and you can just wait, well, then just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Wait 5 years. Wait. I mean, however
Totally.
long you need to wait, like just wait. Because if you need to sell now, like this is the winning ticket.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's talk about you. Let's talk about
Okay.
Elite Hubb and like how it came to be. Like why in your story, you came from Washington, you were an agent, you found Pace, and then you just magically decided to create Elite TC and Elite Hubb, and here you are. Like, how did that piece happen?
I mean, you kind of hit it. No, just kidding. So, but you
Yeah,
kind of
right.
did because so what had happened is, so I joined Sub 2. We had done we moved to Arizona. We went and did a flip actually back up in Washington because our family is there. And then we couldn't find the right deal down here. So we're like, hey, let's pack up. We're both entrepreneurs, right? My husband works from home too. Like, so this is perfect thing. We're going to pack up and go. So we got back from the flip and we're like, okay, kind of what's next? And we had heard Pace on the podcast. And I was like, I'm going to do this Sub 2 thing. I'm going to put, some more arrows in my quiver for my buyers, thinking I'm
Right.
still going to go get my traditional license. And I joined Sub 2, got into the whole creative world and was, I mean, fire hose at you, like of all this stuff and terms.
Overwhelming.
Okay. I'm like not repetitive. And so, my MSA or my member service advisor, when you onboard, was like, hey, we need TCs. Why don't, with your background, you should be a TC. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do like paperwork, actually. Like, I kind of like the behind the scenes. And so
God
I was like,
left
okay,
people like you. I so
well, so
appreciate people like you.
what's funny is now my role, and we'll get to that a little bit different. Now my role has changed where I can thrive in both. But really, I love the behind the scenes. And so, I was like, cool, I'm going to TC. So I make some Facebook posts, and that's how I met Jordan, who worked on your file. Because you know Jordan.
I
And
do,
she
yeah.
was my first Sub 2 friend. And so
That's awesome.
she's like,
I
hey,
didn't know
I'm
that.
doing TC. Yeah. I mean, first comment, reached out to Jordan, love Jordan. And so she has been my longest Sub 2 friend. I joined with my mom. And so, I mean, obviously my mom does have precedence over how long I've known my mom over Jordan, but
Fair.
Jordan's first Sub 2 friend. And so she's like, I'm TCing too. Like, let's TC. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. So we would get on Zoom late at night and be like, okay, what did you learn in the vault? What did you learn? We'd go to the Saturday Zooms because at that time, Top Tier didn't exist. And so
Right.
we were just trying to learn this creative thing and me pulling in my traditional going, okay, like that part is a red flag. This part seems fine. And so we just like learned together. And one night we were like, okay, we're going to be the resource for newbies coming in the community one day. They just kind of threw it out of just like, we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to figure it out. And I got connected with Pace through his book, doing a video recording. And he was like, you need to come work with Molly. And I was like, yes, like I will
You're like,
come work with
absolutely.
Molly. Like, absolutely. And so got connected and I just got like thrown in. Like Molly said, you're going to either sink or swim. You have the real estate background. And I mean, obviously I swam versus sinking, and just the trajectory of, I was able to have my team on the side because we started forming the team. It was my mom, me, and Jordan. And so I had the team on the side and I was learning TC and like learning the big creative picture and just slowly, I mean, growing simultaneously. And that's kind of, I mean, the rest is kind of history. I mean, at that point, right? I mean, you kind of just keep
I
growing
love
and
it.
then you see, for me, I always saw a need of like, okay, this is maybe a hole missing. Okay, how can we fix that, right? Everyone comes to the TC. Hey, can you underwrite? No, TCs don't really underwrite. Numbers are not my strength, right? Okay, cool. We
Mhm.
need to hire an underwriter so that we can solve that problem. So hire an underwriter, right? okay, hey, can you lend? Do you know anyone who's lending? Well, I'm not lending personally right now, but hey, yes, of course I know a lender because I just did a lending deal 2 weeks ago or whatever. So it slowly just started compounding. And one day me going, we are the ultimate connector. Pace says that all the time too. And going, we are going to just build a business behind this. So that's how the TC team turned into the hub because we are the hub.
I love it. I didn't know all that. So how
Yeah.
big is the hub now?
So right now we're at about 10 TCs. The biggest we have been is 15. And then we have, I think, 10 to 12 on our wholesale side. So there's a little bit of an overlap there. So I think we have 4 TCs that are over there. So I think we have like 8 on our wholesale side.
Wow, that's
So 2
amazing.
different kind of divisions, but then they cohesively work together, obviously, right? If we're closing wholesale deals, my TCs are TCing the deals, right? And they're also learning how to wholesale. And we're just, it's always been this big thing of like gaining the skills because, like, some people want a TC forever. Not a lot of
Mhm.
people do. It takes that special person. And so just kind of growing and stacking those skills. And, we're all investors too. So we're like, okay, let's buy a multifamily together and
Right.
let's do all this cool, crazy, fun stuff. And so just slowly building and growing from that. So,
That's amazing. I want to go back to, I didn't know that your mom was a part of your team. So I've Zoomed with your
mhm.
mom and I didn't know it was your mom.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I want to
So,
talk about
yeah,
that because that's unique.
mhm,
Like partnering with
mhm,
your mom and like how that started and,
mhm.
and why. I love the idea.
Yeah. So, so my mom is a teen mom. So,
Okay.
we grew up together basically. She was 15 and, we're really close, which is
That's
such a
wow.
blessing.
Yeah.
Um, and I had just joined and she came down to visit and she's like, "Okay, like, what are you working on?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing this." And she was in a transition between a job that was
Hmm.
coming to an end. And I was like, well, just come do this with me. And she's like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't really know what we're doing, but just come do it with me. It'll be fine. Right. And
That's
so
awesome.
she just kind of jumped in and we rode the wave together. She's never been an entrepreneur. And so new world in that. So being able to kind of coach her through that. Now my sister's on the team, or one of my sisters is on the team. So now we kind of have this little family, you know, tree changing, I guess, happening, right? And so, but yeah, my
How is
mom
that
does all the
dynamic?
lane transactions. Um, it's a little different.
Yep.
Obviously,
Oh,
it's
I
different,
bet.
right?
It's
And
super cool, but
there's sometimes and I call my mom and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. I feel like I can be a little bit more transparent of her of like, this is what I'm struggling with, or like, oh my gosh, like help me or hurry. Like we need to like focus on the budget for a second. I haven't been thinking about it. So she kind of is like a little bit of my operator, but not really my operator.
hmm,
She's one of my, obviously my husband, but then she's probably my second like sounding board of like, okay, what do you think
for
about
sure.
that? Okay, I'm throwing this out. And she's like, oh, well, maybe that's a little chaotic right now. Like, let's wait. I'm like, okay, but what about this? So it's great.
So how do you, because Ingrid and I talk about this, and we talk about it on the podcast, like turning off like business brain like, with,
Hmm.
each other. And so with you and your mom,
Yeah.
obviously it sounds like you're super close, like really, good friends as well. And so you're
Yeah.
blending multiple relationships into
Hmm.
one. And so has
Yeah.
that taken, been doing it a couple years. Is that like a lot of intentionality of like, hey, let's just be mom, daughter for tonight and
Hmm.
just hang? Or like, how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, great question. So, first things first, like when we started this, we did have that conversation of like, okay, our relationship, is over everything. So, if it gets weird, we're just going to cut it off and it's going to be okay. And,
Got it.
you're still my daughter. I'm still. So obviously that conversation, but there are times where um we kind of pivot and we'll go, okay, like let's talk about family stuff for a second. Like we'll talk about business stuff and then she'll be like, okay, I have like some family updates for you. And so we kind of just like pivot like that. Or if because she'll come down and kind of help with the kids sometimes and it'll be like, okay, right now we're working on some work stuff because, I need some help with this. And then she'll be like, okay, cool, let's do this. Or like, so we kind of just like plan, us TCs like to plan, right? And we just kind of plan it in and go, okay, cool. This is what we're doing right now. Okay, we talked about business. Oh, wait, I'm talking about business. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's pivot. And like, well, there's a time for it. So I don't want to say time block because we don't do that, but it is more of that like, okay, cool. Like we're heading into this. We're like, hey, like I'm a crafter, I'm a puzzler. My son likes to do fun stuff. So it's like, okay, cool. She wants to do a craft with the kids. Okay, cool. Like, let's go get the stuff. And it's like, okay, we're not talking about work stuff right now. So
Got it.
it's just kind of that open communication of that. Now, granted, I will say it's different with my mom than my husband, right? Like how you and Ingrid feel it, right?
For sure.
Me and my husband Joseph, like it's very hard to turn that off a little bit more, especially with a lot of the projects we have going on, how they all kind of connect, right?
Mhm.
Because if you think about it, you and Ingrid's family unit is almost a business in itself, which I know people are going to be
For
like,
sure.
but it kind of is, right? And so you guys are the CEO and the CFO of the family unit, which is a business. And
Yep.
so it's kind of same conversations, but just different things. And so that's it's a little harder on that side, right? Where you're like, okay, what are we doing with the kids? And you're just making decisions together. And is it about a flip or is it about, what are you doing over the weekend? So
Hmm.
yeah.
That's cool. I had no idea. And I love that the like dynamic of your business.
Yeah.
Ingrid and I've talked about my dad before. He's like a super good like project manager and just like really organized and intentional with things. I'm like, it would be super fun to bring him in some way, shape, or form. And him and I've talked about
Yep.
it. I'm like, I don't know how this works, but it I could see it happening. And so it's just cool that you made it happen,
Yeah. I
which
think
is
it's just
awesome.
really having those conversations and just knowing, right, your relationship comes first. So if stuff gets weird, like, okay, we're going to step back from this because this didn't work and it's okay because we're still family and we're still, that's the end all be all is that relationship,
Right.
right? Versus letting work ruin that, right? And then, you know, you just kind of day by day, you can really only take it one
Hmm.
day at a time. So,
For sure. Well, let's talk about you scaling. So I'm
mhm.
kind of going off the questions that I say, yeah. But I'm just curious,
It's all
like,
good. It's all good.
so you've scaled pretty quickly, in my opinion, as far as your business from where you started to where
Yep.
you are now. What if you're looking back and talking to yourself, someone that's like starting a similar business? What is like? Is there like a standout core like memory where you're like, oh man, like that? It could be like a growing pain that you're like, if I knew that, I wouldn't have done X, Y, Z. Like something
Hmm.
that you wish you would have known looking backwards that would have been a big help in growing your business.
Oh, wow, that's a fantastic question. I'm a big proponent of not living in regret and in
For
the
sure.
past. Um, because that and I don't for me and my personality, that will eat me away, right?
Hmm.
There's some housing investments that I'm like, dang it, we shouldn't have sold it. Like sometimes
Oh,
that
for
still pops
sure.
into my brain. And so for me, I think the biggest thing would be probably build it anyway. Like just do it anyway and don't as a woman and a CEO and a builder, right? We're more emotional than men, right? But just don't get emotional about it and build it anyway because you're going to learn something through it or it's going to make you better or so kind of just do it anyway.
I love it. I mean, I
Yeah.
agree. We're similar in that we don't like regret doing or not doing
Mhm.
because in the moment
Yeah.
it was the right decision, right? It's like, oh man,
Right.
I wish. It's like knowing what I know now, would I change it? Well, no, it got me here. We talk about that with
Mhm.
any of our misses on investments where you're like, or the ones that you're like, man, why did I sell it? But in the moment, like it
Yeah.
was the right decision. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, it'd be worth double, but it's like, who knows how many other headaches you would have had because you didn't sell it, or you know what I mean? Like I
Right.
do. It's interesting looking at things like obviously hindsight's 2020, right? You look back, and you're like, man, that if but it's not linear. It's up and down and all the things, and so you just
Yeah.
never know. I agree with you on
Because
not
if you would have
regretting a
made a
decision.
Yeah, because if you would have made a different decision, what would the outcome have been and would it have been for you, right? And so I've been really actually this is such a great question because I've been dwelling on this a lot recently and in different decisions that we're making, right? Like the path that we're going on is the right path. If
Hmm.
if it's not the right path, something will deviate and then that will be the right path. Like we are on the path. And so it's like leaning into every situation, whether we like it or not, whether it's positive or negative, right? I mean, after Squad Up this year, I had 5 people leave. That was a big thing for me. I had to kind of sit in that and go,
Yeah.
okay, what did I do wrong? Oh my gosh, it wasn't me, right? And so it's like they were just going on a different path. And the way that I reacted, right? Like, I mean, I kind of sat in it for a while. Like, there was some hurt in it. Some of it I expected, right? But us being emotional beings, right? I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Like, this sucks, right? Okay, well, it happened for a reason. Now, like, our team is stronger together because one, there's more responsibility on less people. But it's like,
Hmm.
okay, this is the path and that needed to happen. And it's pivoted and changed the way that I react to things or the way that I move through things. And so it really is one of those things where it's like the path is the path and just trying not to go, well, what if, right? Because
Right.
what if, we get abducted by aliens tomorrow? I don't know. So
Right. Today better be good.
yeah.
I mean, truly. I mean, we are in
Hmm.
that season right now where it's been I mean, in this real estate business, it's been a strange, hard, like 3 years now. And for us,
Totally.
it's been weird. Like we've had amazing realtor traditional side, like where it's just been really like we've done a lot of business, and then investments,
Hmm.
we've had some really good ones, and some that you're like, wow, that was a straight up strikeout. We just fixed
Totally.
somebody's house for them. Just wow, congratulations, you got a great deal, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it's been like the one that we are in right now. It's interesting. It's super heavy and burdensome, and it's a luxury flip that we had, and we bought it last year. I mean, like the all economists, all smart people last year in
Hmm.
2024 forecasted this year to be pretty freaking good because last year
Yeah.
was the worst year in 30 years. Well, who would have
Hmm.
thought that this year would be
We're still
worse
waiting.
than last year? Yeah, exactly. And so, is it all market driven? No, but
Hmm.
it is. It's interesting, like being where we're at now with this luxury flip, and I mean, it's going to be a huge setback for us. And but it's
Hmm.
also like it's sprungboarded us in a lot of ways. Mentally, it's we accomplished something that we had never thought or even tried. We bought a $2 million flip,
Hmm.
and on the buy side, and it was like, holy cow, I cannot believe we're doing this. And then
Hmm.
it gave us this. It's in hindsight, it's a false sense of confidence to do what we did
Hmm.
and move here, but
Yeah.
it was real in the moment. Like it was like, oh man,
Yeah.
the upside of this
Yeah.
one is it will give us a security blanket for a while if we need it.
Right.
And we committed and made this whole move happen. And I mean, when we bought
Hmm.
that place, this wasn't even a dream, like moving to Coeur d'Alene.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
it's just fascinating. Like if we hadn't bought that, would we have had the same dream and made it happen? I don't know.
Hmm.
And so am I
Well, and
thankful
I
that we
think
bought it? Yes.
yeah, and I think having the faith and knowing, and it really comes down to your mindset and your attitude about it, right? And having the faith that it's going to work out, right? You guys
Hmm.
wanted to move to Coeur d'Alene, right? And so you're like, we're going to take the steps to move forward and slowly but surely, right? You got there. Whether it's like, okay, well, we don't see that happening right now, so we're just not even going to try,
Right.
So it's
Very much.
yeah, and I want to talk to you about that luxury flip a little bit more too, because there's one we're eyeing, and I'm like, oh, it's scary.
It is scary. You're like, wow, those are big numbers. Like the premise is still the same. And everything else, I
Yeah.
mean, it was our easiest flip in a lot of ways that we've ever done.
Mm.
As far as like nobody tried to break into it. Like, I mean,
Yes.
little things like that where you're like, other flips that you got to call the cops on like 5 times and like people
Yeah.
steal stuff. And it's
Right.
just slightly different neighborhood. Not that
Mm.
it couldn't have happened, it could have, but it didn't. And I wasn't stressed
Right.
about it. So yeah, we should
Right.
talk about that offline. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy to tell you everything that I've learned because it has
Cool.
been a great
I look
learning
forward.
experience. I mean, truly,
Yeah.
truly, it has. And would I do things different? I would. Would I still buy it? Yeah, I would, because
Yeah.
it's grown me as a person. And we know, I mean, we are people of faith, and like I know that I'm going to look back in 5 years and be like, holy cow, that was a really hard season. And look how strong you are now because of it. And look where you got because of
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But
Well, and
and
I
right
think
now, you're
it
like, man, I'm in the trench. And you're like, gosh, how do I get out?
totally. Well, and I think too, so we're people of faith too. And so I think, in the moment, because we had even a conversation yesterday with each other, we were like, oh my gosh, where is God in this? Like, we're drowning. Like, what is happening? But then when you come out of it, you
Hmm.
go, wow, God showed up there. God showed up there. Wow, that he was there. Like, it's just almost it goes back to the faith of like, okay, we know what is happening right now is it's weird and it's a weird season and it's a hard season. God is here. God has got us. We don't understand
Hmm.
what is happening, why it's happening, all of those things. But when you're out of it, you're like, wow, God really showed up for us there because of XYZ, because there's the trickle effect of, okay, you're a better person. You learn this, you learn that. And so you're like a
Yep,
bigger picture, right? We don't get the bigger picture where you're like, maybe it wasn't about the money or this. You had to be stressed so that you could do this because you're going to help this person. Totally.
exactly. It's so real. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly, you just described where we are right now. And every day is a battle.
No, yay.
And every day is like, it's this weird, like, blessing. We're so blessed and we love it, and so much gratitude for where we are. And it's so good. And on the flip side, it is terribly hard and terribly difficult and super stressful,
Yeah,
the most stress we've ever been under. And we're
totally.
fully equipped and we can handle it. And it's
Yeah.
part of our story, but man, it is tricky. It's a tricky season to be in.
Yeah,
But
totally.
the only way out is through. Like,
100%.
especially as an
100%.
entrepreneur, like, you want to put your head in the sand, but you can't. Like, it's you.
Totally. And, then you go, okay, well, what's the easy route? Or, because, those are just conversations that people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, Jesus and grit. I don't know how I do it. I really don't.
That's
But I'm not
exactly
going to
it.
go back to I'm not going to go back to a W-2 because then what am I doing? I'm giving up on, something that I feel called to do. Right.
Hmm.
And anything that you're called to do, right? The devil's going to try and attack that because he knows that you're in your calling. And so
Right.
then those are the conversations too that we've been having of like, okay, we know we're on the right path because of XYZ is happening, right? You were on the right path. You still are on the right path because XYZ. And so then it's time for you and Ingrid to come together and just go, or Joseph and I to come together and just go, not today, devil. Like, you are not going to get to us because we're just going to power through and we know that it's going to be okay.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story. I didn't think we were going to go here, but
Yeah.
you'll
We are.
appreciate it.
It's
So
fine.
I love it. So last week, I think it was last week, I've told a couple people this story, and I'm going to put it out there for the world,
Okay.
apparently. So I was just one of those, is a morning. I was like, I just need some God time. And I like relate with God really well when I'm outside by myself. I'm like
Mm,
the guy walking around the street, like talking out loud, but it's just me and God
okay.
just chatting. So I'm
Yeah.
praying, and I go for a bike ride. I ride to the lake, and you have been to Coeur d'Alene, so just, it's just
Yeah.
breathtaking, and like, it's so easy
Mhm.
for me to connect. And so I'm
Yeah.
sitting next to the resort on a little bluff, looking at the lake, just praying. I was like, I just praying over the day, praying, like, being grateful and gratitude, and praying for provision. So like, I've been praying for like 3 minutes, and literally
Mhm.
I start praying for provision, just like over all the things that we have going, over the stress of where we're at. I'm like, hey, if you are my provider, I have to believe that you will provide and have
Mhm.
faith, right?
Yeah.
And right as I'm praying that, I'm looking this way, and this way, a bird, an osprey, flies, like, not exaggerating, 15 feet in front of me. And again, I'm 30 feet up. And so 15 feet in
Yeah.
front of me, holding a bird. I mean, holding a fish, excuse me,
Mm.
just
Yeah.
right in front of me. And I was like, oh, for me, it was as plain as day. He's like, I
Mhm.
got you. And
Yeah.
it just hit me like a ton of bricks of like, thank you. Like, okay, I got it. And
Yeah.
so Ingrid and I, like over the past, 2 weeks have been like osprey and fish, osprey and fish. We got
Mm-hmm.
this. And it
Yeah.
truly has been like a game changer. And does it happen for
Mm-hmm.
everyone all the time? No. Had that ever happened for me before? No, but it was immediate, like within a
Yeah.
second of me saying that in my prayer, just out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
osprey holding a fish. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, it was so
That's
powerful.
amazing.
Yeah, it was super,
Yeah.
super cool.
Well, because it is hard because like you said, right? Like, okay, eh, you're having the faith and you like we don't understand, but like, okay, we're going
Mhm.
to continue to have the faith because we know you are the provider.
Right.
That's
So
where
true.
we are at too, where we're like, we none of this makes sense. We're not going to put you in a box either because we know that you
Right.
can make it happen. But you're like, okay,
Right.
like
Yeah, you're like, I want your
in
will
the
because your will's
world.
greater than mine. But
Yeah.
all I know is what it feels right now. Yeah. I,
All
I
I know
recently
is
heard
the
the
numbers
song.
on the spreadsheet.
Right. I heard the song
Yeah.
by Brian and Katie Torwalt, if you know who they are. They're Christian
Uh-uh.
singers. But it's called
Okay.
Hallelujah in the Hard Things. Oh my gosh.
Mm,
Like the words, I heard it for the first time ever last week, just randomly on the Google screen. The kids are playing music and I hear the song. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's me right now. I need that.
Yeah.
So it's been on a
Yeah.
repeat. And I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yeah. That's
Good. Well,
awesome.
I didn't think we were gonna go there, but I love that. I love that. Yeah, God is good, and it's even when it's hard, and
Even when it's hard.
that's when we get stronger as people, as entrepreneurs, and like the world needs us to get stronger and be better at what we do,
Uh-huh.
and like we have to go through hard
Uh-huh.
times to get stronger. We just do.
Totally. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that also need to be helped.
Right.
If you think about that, like, and there's obviously some weight to that, which take it if you want, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
okay, even in so many conversations we've had lately, I'm like, how is that person even making money? How is this person surviving? I'm like, they need our help and our coaching and like agents. We need to teach them creative so that they can make more money, like have a better
Right.
life. And so there's some weight of like, okay, it kind of sucks, but it turns back to that perspective and just go, okay, I'm on the path and we're going to help a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So,
I love it. Well, let's wrap this up. It's been fun. Actually, I really enjoyed this conversation. But like for you, how do people
mhm.
find you, get connected with you? How do they sign up and say, hey, I need your help? What do I do? Okay. Okay. You don't have to do that. Okay. What about the socials? Do they? It's all scammy. Okay. Cool. Absolutely. And I'll link your podcast as well. I, I love it. Well, our final question that we ask everyone and talk about every single week is right now in your business, whether personal or any of the other businesses, what are you currently yoked to? Nice. It's the best thing to be yoked to. I love that. I love that you did that. We did one recently as well, and it was for the same thing. So, and it was not easy, but we did it. Same. Right. Well, and it goes to show you that it's not transactional, and it is much like it's easy for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna fast and then have that, and it's like, well, that doesn't always work like that. Yeah. I love it. Well, thanks for the good conversation. I really appreciate it, and I look for we should do this again. It'd be fun to talk more about all other things. Bring your husband on, bring your mom on. Why not? Cool. Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, follow Alyssa as well, and subscribe to the Confessions of the Working Mom podcast. And until next week, have a great one.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Yoked Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it.
And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along as we drop a new episode each week.